Hey, thanks for stopping by my channel. My name is Evan Edinger, a British American man on a YouTube channel about British American things. The other day, I made a little passing comment about how the happiest a British person is in their entire life is when they get access to a bench in school. And every British person went, retweet. You are very right. Subscribed, liked. And every American went, Evan, why the heck did you not expound upon this? We have no idea what you're talking about. Why do British people love benches? Today we're gonna go into this cultural phenomenon known as the British school kid bench, some games they even came up with based on said bench. You know what I'm talking about, Brits. And cluing all the other cultures in on why British people love benches so much. Also, by the way, today's video is sponsored by HelloFresh. You'll hear more about them in the middle of the video. So, the bench phenomenon. Here's the thing. Like I said, I grew up in America, okay? I did not grow up in the UK, but I am now so fully assimilated, I know the upbringing, okay? Here's the situation. You go to a school in the UK. No matter where you go in the UK, you all have certain shared elements of the school regardless that everyone really has. Whereas when I do British versus America videos and I talk about like my time in New Jersey, there'll be people from Texas like, excuse me? What? You had that class? All we had was Protect the Alamo class. You know, the US is so massive and there are very small things that are common in between. Whereas in the UK, there's a lot more. For instance, everyone in the UK has a really horrible looking assembly room. We had a horrible assembly in the US. You know, it was just a standard multi-purpose room, the gym, the cafeteria, the theater for assemblies. They have this room. Now, they couldn't really afford standard bleachers like we can in the States. Growing up, we have these little benches that fold together like this and you slam them against the wall when you want to have everyone standing or have something else going on. Whereas you just open them up like this and then boom, you've got yourself seating for lunch, for anything you want. But when it comes to the assembly, that's not really gonna cut it. You want everyone's eyes facing whoever is speaking, telling you about how you gotta save the tropical rainforests. In the UK, they don't have much budget all around the UK. Even if they do, they've just kept this cultural thing of just having one bench, okay? In the back of the assembly hall, okay? Every single assembly hall, pretty much the same. If you are in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody in the row, come on, let's drive. You're actually just sitting down Indian style, cross-legged, what's it called? However you want to sit, you are sitting in the front. However, all those 5 years of your life, you're looking behind you at this fabled bench, this bench that represents everything you want as a British child. Your butt to not be on the hard floor. And you're like, one day, when I progress old enough, I will be able to be one of those older kids sitting on that bench, feeling like it's a throne, watching the assembly and loving life. And so for 5 years of British children's lives, they literally just vie after this coveted bench, all they want. And they have to make sure they get to the assembly hall early to make sure they get a good seat on that bench. And you know what? As soon as year 6 comes, they do. And if you ask any British person, ask anyone you know, they will all unanimously agree, best time of their freaking lives, and it lived up to every expectation. Were there cushions on these benches? No, not really. No, growing up in Jersey, we had these little carpet squares, and I was really happy with my carpet square. So maybe as a kid, little things make you really happy, such as getting access to this bench and feeling like a king who's able to watch above all of the young kids. You've finally made it, and then it's all downhill from there. I mean, the weather, the way that society is, high school in the UK, secondary as they say, oh boy, it's not quite good. But they did develop a really fun sport revolving around this bench called bench ball, which I'm going to tell you about right about after I tell you a word about today's sponsor, HelloFresh. I was having such bad anxiety today, I really was. I had some things go wrong. My bed decided to break on me. That's not gonna be fixed for 9 weeks because they're out of stock. You know, I've gotta give up my avocados. Having a really stressful one and also the heat, 38 degrees, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Really stressful, honestly, but something that doesn't stress me out. You know, just segueing back in to today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. One less thing to worry about, okay? What am I going to be cooking this week? HelloFresh. Here's what happens. I go through HelloFresh's incredibly extensive large list of different recipes to go through. I pick out the ones I want. Oh, empanadas? Thank you, don't mind if I do. That's what I'm gonna be cooking today. My HelloFresh box arrives with all the freshest ingredients for my 3 recipes I've chosen for this week. I put most of it into the fridge, and then I begin cooking, chopping the freshest of garlics and delicious and vegetables. Did you try any new and exciting ingredients? Man, I've heard about this thing called garlic. Blew my mind. Were there any specific textures you enjoyed? Garlic texture. Who do you share your HelloFresh meals with? My stomach. I got the 4-person box to myself. You know what that's called? thinking smart. I make one big meal and I've got leftovers the rest of the week, okay? Big brain. I don't know what your regular rotation of freshly cooked meals is, but empanadas isn't normally a thing for me, so I like that with HelloFresh, I'm able to choose, oh, empanadas this week, and now I've got another cool recipe under my belt I might be able to whip out in case my friends want to have some sort of come dine with me situation. If you're not really that good at cooking, HelloFresh is really good at getting you there. And if you are good at cooking, HelloFresh is really good at helping you expand your recipe book. And if you'd like to join me in ordering HelloFresh, if you use my code here, you get 50% off your first box, wow, and 35% off your next 3 boxes. So thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring. And without further ado, let's talk about bench ball. What the absolute heck is bench ball? I would like to believe that I know what bench ball is, but in fact, we're just going to be reading the Wikipedia page because, as you know, I didn't grow up here, and this is one thing that I learned about from one of you guys in the comment section of my last video. You said bench ball, and oh my God, did all the British people go, oh, nostalgia, oh, I forgot. So here we go. Bench ball is a team sport played in schools, of course, for developing ball skills. In preparation for learning netball and basketball. All right, so bench ball is a British/Canadian, as we'll learn, pre-basketball, pre-netball. And for those Americans that don't know what netball is, Americans don't really have it. It's basically basketball, but correct me if I'm wrong, there's no real dribbling, and the backwards way of thinking about it in the UK, I've heard people say that netball is the ladies' version. Listen, it's like softball and baseball, how there's some weird separation. And I've seen some softballs thrown. Oh, a little scarier in my opinion. That's a bigger ball. Next up, there are several varieties of the game of bench ball, but there are always 2 teams, each with a bench, and then you've got the dodgeball. It's like dodgeball or large softball in play. Cool. So it's a big red bouncy ball, I hope. A flat rectangular surface is needed. That's weird. Yeah, the assembly hall or wherever you're playing it. Marked with lines like a badminton court. Interesting. The size of the teams, variable, but they must be the same for each side. Okay, so basically we're explaining the basics of a standard game, sure. Each team has a goalkeeper who stands on the team's bench, while the other players take up positions around the half of the court. Next up, the ball is thrown to the center of the court. The player catches it to gain possession. The aim of the game is to pass the ball to the goalkeeper, and then that person goes on the bench until there are 5 people on the bench and a new round begins. Okay, I understand now. So basically this is really focusing on passing. You really gotta make sure you're a team player. So you gotta pass the ball to the goalkeeper, and then if they catch it, you get to stand on the bench with them, and then you can catch balls, and if 5 people go on, round finished. How do you win? How do you win? If the ball is dropped or the other team gains possession, oh, because you're just trying to throw it to your own team, and there's only 1 ball, so okay, interesting. Then a new count begins. If the ball leaves the court, the team which was the last to touch it gets to throw it in from the sidelines, and players can pass the ball to each other, but are not allowed to move with the ball. Okay, so very similar to netball. So you catch the ball, and you gotta somehow pass it and get it to your guy. But if someone on the other team blocks, well then they basically switch it over. Now they're trying to throw it to their guys and get 5 people on the bench. That actually sounds really fun. I'm actually a bit depressed I've never played that. I played mat ball, wall ball, very violent. Loved it. A row of cones can be used to mark out a strip 4 feet wide in front of each bench where the defenders are not allowed to enter. Okay, that adds a bit more of a difficulty to it, so you can't just stand right next to the goalkeeper. I think that's a more fair version. And here we go, as played in Canada, because some Canadians sounded off in my comment section. They've got 6 players who must be of both sexes. All right, very forward thinking. Here we got they're just putting that out there. They're like, you can't play this game if you just have guys or you just have girls. You gotta have both, co-ed only. At least 2 of each. And there are 3 dodgeballs for each team. That sounds chaotic. That sounds like dodgeball with a bench. Throw the bench! 1 team player stands on a bench at the back of the team's court. Players are not allowed to cross the center line of play. Throw the team's ball in play to the team member on the bench. If it's caught on the bench, the thrower then gets to go onto the bench. When the whole team's on the bench, you get a point. That, I think, makes more sense. It's like dodgeball, except the opposite. It's called catch ball on a bench. So my question to Brits and Canadians, why isn't this a thing we see in the Olympics? Where are the professional bench ball games? Is it just because it's a game that gets you ready for netball and basketball? Because I want to play some bench ball, all right? Remember the days of YouTube gatherings? I would gather one right now and we'd all play some bench ball, and I could understand the joy that comes with finally being able to sit and or play on this coveted bench in British culture. Anyway, that has been your lesson in British culture today. Hope you've enjoyed your stay on the Evan Edinger channel. If you'd like to watch a different video, you can do this. I have many videos I've made over 10 years. Anyway, see you next time with another interesting tidbit of culture. Goodbye. I don't know what this is, but it's something new. Please drink water. I'm delirious from how hot it is.